One of the great stories in the NBA is Duncan Robinson. Born in Maine, grew up in New Hampshire, played Division III basketball, then went to Michigan, and all of a sudden you realize he's one of the best shooters in the NBA. And all he does is shoot threes. So I immediately love Duncan Robinson, who joins us on the program, the Miami Heat forward. Duncan, how are you?
I'm doing well. Appreciate you having me on. Excited to be here.
Okay, a couple of things. Andre Iguodala, who was with Golden State, had the ultimate compliment, I think, for you when, well, not the ultimate, because he thought, I think, you were the ball boy when he first got to Miami Heat. Is that right?
Yeah, I don't know if that's actually a legitimate quote. I think that was, kind of somewhat made up.
Oh,
Yeah, a little bit. Andre, obviously, Andre and I are pretty close, and he's been a great mentor to me ever since he's been at Miami. But I'm not in that category yet in terms of his other teammates.
okay. But he did say that you were the best shooter he's seen. Is that right? That's the quote. Now, are you saying that that's not true either?
I don't know if that's entirely true. I don't think he said that verbatim. He's definitely given me a lot of confidence. But like I said, I don't think he thinks, or personally, honestly, at this point, I think I'm in that category just yet.
Well, why the hell am I having you on if you weren't mistaken for a ball boy and being called the best shooter that Andre Iguodala has ever seen?
I'm not sure. I mean, it could be true in that I'm relatively unassuming. I kind of came on, I guess, a little bit late there towards the end of the season. So I'm not sure.
Okay, but you go Division III, then you go to Michigan, and you end up with the Heat. And I started looking at the numbers, and I go, this guy doesn't shoot any twos. It's basically three or nothing. How did you become this great three-point shooter? And I do mean great.
Just a lot of repetitions. I feel like I've always kind of had an ability to shoot the ball. I've definitely improved here in the last 3 to 4 years. I think Michigan helped me a lot in terms of my player development, and then ever since I've been with Miami, they've really hardwired into my brain to really just shoot threes and do what I do well. And for me, that's doing my job and being aggressive.
What was your welcome to the NBA moment, good or bad?
I would probably say this year we were playing the Lakers.
Uh-oh.
This was early on in the year before I had a little bit of a reputation, and they put LeBron on me. Basically, just had him sit in the paint. I didn't think I was basically relevant enough or worthy of a defender, because he's such a good help side defender. And that was probably it, just that surreal moment of being on the floor, but also, kind of being guarded by him as well.
But the fact that you sort of weren't guarded by him either.
Exactly. Yeah. I definitely was not a priority in terms of their scouting report.
But when did it change? When did you start getting respect from defenses?
Just kind of gradually over time. As the year went on, my role kind of started to shift. At first, I was coming off the bench and just kind of being a spark and a floor spacer. And as the year went on, I got put in more and more action and was asked to do a little bit more. So it was just gradual. I wouldn't necessarily cite one in particular moment where everything kind of changed.
What about the three-point shooting contest?
Yeah, I mean, that was in many ways. I mean, I kind of laid an egg. I wish I could have it back in terms of my performance that weekend. But
how nervous were you?
I was it's just such an unnatural setting. You're sitting there waiting for the contest to come, and you get about like a minute to warm up, and then all of a sudden you're just kind of thrown into the fire. So that was definitely a little bit of a way for me to gain a little bit more notoriety, and that I was kind of getting some recognition after that.
Did you talk to any of those guys? Do you talk to, can you walk over to Steph Curry prior to a game and just like great shooter to great shooter have a conversation, or Klay Thompson?
I haven't had that moment with either of those guys. Obviously, they missed a lot of this year.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
So I haven't had that moment with either of those guys. I will say it's been pretty surreal. I've been able to kind of develop relationships with guys like JJ Redick and Kyle Korver, guys who I've always really looked up to, who've done my job at the highest of levels. So it's been pretty cool to just kind of learn from them and pick their brains on different things.
The Heat worked out in Miami yesterday. You leave for Orlando here coming up in a few days. How nervous are you?
It's a combination of kind of anxious and excited. I think first and foremost, I think we're all excited to get back to playing. Obviously, there's a lot of uncertainty that's coming with the being in this bubble. It's unprecedented in a lot of ways, but we're also excited about just getting back out there and competing.
Yeah, but you're going to be in the bubble.
Yeah, I mean it's a totally different scenario than obviously anyone's ever faced. I think that there's going to be some bumps in the road in terms of how it all comes together, but I think what's most important is that between the league and the teams, there's definitely a united front, and that everybody wants to play again.
Yeah, but how many times have you been tested?
We get tested every other day since June 21st, so I'd probably say like 5 or something like that.
What's that process like?
It's I've gotten used to it. It's gotten more and more comfortable. At first, it was definitely uncomfortable, a little invasive for sure. But at this point, it's basically become habit, considering I do it every other day.
I saw where the Greek Freak said, whoever wins this championship, you deserve an asterisk because you will have pulled off maybe the greatest championship, given everything that's at stake, everything you got to go through, if we even get to an NBA Finals. What do you think of that quote by the Greek Freak?
I think there's definitely some truth to it. One thing we've really been talking about as a team is that this will definitely be a test of competitive will and then also just mental toughness. So I think whatever team can pull through in that regard will definitely have a competitive advantage.
I know you're doing a sweepstakes. Yes, Duncan Robinson is running a sweepstakes contest. I think you're involved with the United Way, so would you like to let the audience know?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm doing an event with United Way and Engage, and basically it's just a way to first of all give back to the community of Miami and everything that's going on between the recent social justice push and also COVID obviously as well. Obviously 100% of the proceeds are going towards the cause, and the grand prize is basically just like a VIP game night with me. You'll be my guest all the way through from pregame warmups to postgame as well. And there's a bunch of other prizes as well. So, like I said, 100% of the proceeds are going towards the cause. And, obviously in times like this, it requires people to give up both their time and their money. And I've tried to do both. So I feel like this is a way for me to do that.
Give the website to people if they want more information on this.
You can go to Let's Engage is the platform that I'm using it through. And like you mentioned, it's the Duncan Robinson sweepstakes.
Are you a Patriots fan?
I did grow up a Patriots fan, yes.
Well, you didn't answer the question. Are you a Patriot?
I will say it gets tough as you get older. Your loyalty kind of shifts. Now I feel like I'm very much a citizen of the city of Miami. So I was excited to see that they drafted Tua. I'm excited for the future. But, in my heart, I will also always be a Patriot fan as well.
Have you gone to games?
In Miami, I have. I went to a game last year when they played the Patriots at home, which honestly, it felt more like a game in Foxborough than it did in Miami.
Have you gone to games in Foxborough?
I went to one growing up. So I grew up north of Boston, Foxborough south. So getting through the city and getting down there is always a challenge with traffic and everything. Duncan,
good luck. It's been a great success story. You don't find too many guys who went to Williams College who end up in the NBA, and we wish you well there in Orlando.
All right. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate you having me on.
All right. That's Duncan Robinson, 26 years of age, and Fritzy did some great research there. And Duncan, you got to stay with that story though. That they thought you were the ball boy, and that Andre Iguodala said you're the greatest shooter he's ever been around. Okay, you got to stay with that story. Okay,
I'll run with it.
Yes. I gotta get with your PR people. Thank you, Duncan.